Hey, Marty T. Hawkins with Warehouse and Operations as a Career here with you again. Let's see. Man, it's been a busy week. Where are we at now? So this is episode 126. Last week we only got to one question that had been sent in to us. It was about the receiver position. I hope we covered it pretty well and all understood its possibilities or learned a little more about what we already knew. I've received a couple of inquiries into the driver-helper role, so I thought we'd talk about that position today. You know, there's a few positions that I've always thought of as a great breakthrough or get your foot in the door opportunity type position, and the driver-helper task would have to rank right up there as number 1 or 2. It's just that from there, it's so easy to move into the warehouse jobs, and it's a great doorway into the transportation world too. Why do I feel it's the perfect entry job? I'm so glad you asked. Think about it. It's a general labor job to most people, and really most companies think of it that way too. All that's really needed is a body to ride with the driver and help him stack down the load and maybe lend a hand with organizing the stops or gathering all the cases for the next stop. Possibly we might be asked to perform a little security for the trailer if it's a night route or a key drop route. Is everyone familiar with key drops? I'm not sure that we've ever talked about it. A key drop route would be where the driver has the keys to the customer's establishment and we deliver their product when no one's around or after hours. Key drops are really a win-win. The customer doesn't have to pay someone to stop what they're doing and receive the product or put the product away. Our company's driver and driver helper does all that for them. And really for us as drivers and helpers, we're able to make many more stops and get paid for a lot more cases because we're not dealing with as much traffic or having to wait for the customer to have time for us to deliver their goods. Okay, I got off topic again real quick. So where were we? You know, although most people consider the driver-helper position as a GL position and really just a body to help out, it's just not going to be that way for us. We have a plan, right? We're going to, or I hope we are, we're going to just use this position as a stepping stone to our own goals. Let's walk through the typical job description and talk about how we can turn a general labor mindset into an educational task for us. Now, of course, we're going to arrive at least 10 minutes early for our shift every day, and we'll be wearing any required PPEs that we've been assigned. Usually that's going to consist of an ANSI safety vest, maybe steel-toe boots or shoes, possibly even some good gloves may be required. Next, we're going to watch and learn everything our driver does prior to pulling out of the yard. This could be things like heading over to dispatch and picking up our invoices or manifest sheets and signing out our equipment. Your facility may require the driver and helper to load the staged product or organize the pallets and run them into the trailer even. Next, our driver may go perform a pre-trip on the trailer. If we're running with a reefer unit, he or she may have to pre-trip it as well. Now, the reason I'm talking about all these pre-work tasks and it's going to take a little bonding time with our driver, but we'll want to eventually learn the trust and respect to do all these things that our driver's doing. We'll immediately become an asset to our driver and not just a pair of hands for him to use. Okay, so now we've left the yard and on our way to our first stop. I always like to grab the clipboard and look over the order for my first stop. I'd know the piece counts, what items we'd be delivering, and I'd start thinking about how I'd want the boxes stacked on my dolly if I was going to be the one delivering it. When my driver got backed in and ready to unload, I'd have the trailer door opened and already stacking our first stop product down and have it ready for him or her to wheel into the customer. If I ever got ahead of the game a little bit, I'd ask if I could help deliver and store the product with them. Remember, we want to be an asset to them. I'd always try and do most of the stacking. I always liked having 2 or 3 stops separated and ready to help them load up on their dollies. As a driver helper, all we have to do is help out. Do what's asked. Be that extra set of hands. But using our position as a stepping stone, having a plan to reach our goal to another position, we will want to learn all these other tasks. So after we've completed our route and returned to the yard, again, I'm watching and learning. We'll want to learn the returns procedures. I always would have everything notated correctly on the bills and had the product stacked and ready for the returns agents. Again, helping them out, keeping everything really organized for them. I wanted them to recognize that I was an asset to them and the company. Working closely with the warehouse guys like those return agents, they'll want to teach us and get us certified on the equipment so we can move product around for them and really help run it to its final destination. I honestly never looked at it as doing anyone else's job for them. I always thought of it as learning to take their jobs from them. I've always talked about the driver-helper position as a doorway into transportation and/or warehousing because it can truly be whatever we want it to be. As we just spoke to, learning what all the driver has to do besides driving, it's easy to learn to drive. It's all the other components of the job that has to be taught, and we'll learn them all by doing them. And I really find it's the same for the warehouse side. We can get some equipment experience and start learning some of those procedures simply by hanging around the right people and making it known that we want to learn. Here at WAOC, we're always encouraging you to let your management team know that you're wanting more knowledge and more responsibility. That's what's going to get us noticed. So the question that was posed was, I have a friend who works in a warehouse. He likes it well enough, I guess. The only position they have open is for a driver-helper. I don't want to ever drive a truck. Do you think I could apply for it and ever get moved into the warehouse? Well, I answered him with a strong certainly. And making that transition will be really easy too. I encouraged him to do his best for like 3 months and then start letting everyone know that he'd be interested in that next warehouse position when it become available. I guess we could really approach any job just as a body or someone to perform the task at hand, or we can be that person that's going to get noticed and be a true asset to our team. Now, there is absolutely nothing wrong with approaching a job or a task just as a job. We'll get a check. And after all, we're all working for the money, right? But myself, I've always felt like we can have more enthusiasm, more money, and more enjoyment from our jobs by being that employee, an asset to our teammates and the company. We probably ought to just mention the way a driver-helper could be paid. And that can really vary between different industries. Anything from hourly to by the route. I've heard a few places have developed a by the case pay system even. I personally don't know of anywhere that is presently paying hourly for this position. It's more by the route or by the loads typically. Well, that's just about a wrap for the day. Join us for more talk about positions using that little @ sign, WHSEANDOPS, on both Facebook and Twitter. And stop in at the Warehouse Equipment Operators community group too. You can learn a lot about the different kinds of equipment used in our industry there on any given day. If you have a comment or topic suggestion, shoot us a email to host@warehouseandoperationsasacareer.com. I love getting mail. Until next week, work safe, and please remember your training and never get on or touch a piece of powered industrial equipment that you haven't been trained to use.